Today I thought it would be a great time to share some monthly favorites. I really love making these videos because I feel they are much better representations of products I actually like to use, as opposed to reviews and first impressions and all those things. So there's quite a bit to get through because this month I've been really pushing myself to try all kinds of things and paint on different surfaces with different mediums. My channel is usually focused on watercolors, and I know that's the reason that most of you are here. And it's not that I've stopped painting with watercolors, but I have been painting predominantly with watercolors for quite a long time, and I just felt I wanted to try a few other things as well. So that's what I've been doing mostly this month, and so I think that would be a good... So I want to talk about the products that I enjoyed using, and it's a combination of products that I enjoy and formula, like the product itself, and favorite colors. So I've been mostly using acrylic gouache and acrylic inks, and so I want to kind of highlight a few favorites. And let's talk quickly about the colors here. This is mostly my palette with the addition of white, and the yellow that I've been using the most this month is this one. A lot of these things I've had, almost everything actually, I've had for years. I bought these before I started focusing more on watercolors, and so I've had these for 4 or 5 more years. And it's really great to get some use out of them. They've been neglected for years, so I'm happy to get good use out of them. But yeah, I don't know if these things are still available, but I'll tell you what I'm using. So this is acrylic ink. This is Speedry Magic Color, and I got this in a set, again, years ago. And this is made in England. I don't know, the company is West, I want to say. I have no idea. That's how the label looks like. And Magic Color. And the color is Process Yellow. And it's just my kind of yellow. You can see more on the orangey side, kind of sunflower yellow, happy yellow as I call it. I've been really enjoying this. This has been kind of my go-to yellow. Now this one I want to talk about mostly about the formula and not necessarily the color. I got just the one bottle to try. This is Schmincke's Aerocolor Total Cover, and this is acrylic ink from Schmincke. They have a range of colors, and then there are a few, I don't know if they're new, but a few that have these like black labels and that they say total cover. And I just got the one in a color that I don't really have. Maybe that was the mistake. Maybe I don't have this color for a reason. It's not my favorite color. It's an okay color, but the formula is quite impressive, and it is, I don't know if you, like, I think you can see, it's very opaque and intense. And of course you can water it down, but I just like to have options. So I think I will definitely look now at the entire range and see if there are colors that I'm interested in, because yeah, it's very concentrated. And I like that. So let's go into the pinks. I have 3 that I was using this month, and the first one is quinacridone red from Golden. This is their high flow acrylics, and it's this color here. Zoom you in so you can see a bit better the colors, but it's not red really. It's kind of like a pinkish color. What I especially like about the Golden high flow acrylics is the flow, like the formula of it. They're very liquid and just a lot of fun to play around with. I like the container, and so I don't have, for example, quinacridone magenta, which is like one of my favorite colors. I don't have in this formula because, or I don't have it by Golden, because these are very expensive in Europe and also not readily available for me. I have in my local art store, I think maybe a couple of sets of the High Flow, but nothing open stock, and then a few small bottles of their liquid color, which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, so I really love the formula. Don't love the price here in Europe of these, and the color range, it's kind of like basic. I need something a bit special to make me invest. And then my star pinks this month were these that, again, I just had these for years. This is by Dr. P.H. Martin's Teck drawing ink. People don't really talk about these. They're not super easy to find. You just want to make sure you're getting, I mean, if you want this exact product, I'll try to find the link. I don't know if these are still available, but they have, Dr. P.H. Martin has a lot of inks. They have liquid watercolors, hydras, India ink, all kinds of things. So this particular one is called Teck Drawing Ink. The colors that I love are 5W Rose and 6W Rhodamine. And it says Teck ink is a light, fast, waterproof, and brilliant transparent pigmented color for use with pen or brush on paper and illustration board. I've been using these on canvas and wood, like wood boards, art board, I don't know how those are called, but I just love these two colors. Been using a lot of both of them. As you can see, the Rhodamine is a little bit, it's like more of a fuchsia. It kind of gives me bright rose vibes, which is my favorite pink in watercolor, Bright Rose by Holbein. And then this is the rose color, which is, as you can see, it's not as blue as this. And then a surprise entry to this list, I didn't expect this one, but this gorgeous, gorgeous color is by Liquitex. It's called Deep Violet, and it is, as you can see, glorious. And this has been mostly my dark this month. If I wanted a bit of a dark color, that's where I went. I didn't really go into other colors. I do want to get an indigo because there's something about like inky indigos that appeals to me. But yeah, so this was a surprise favorite. And then these two, I'm not a fan of the colors themselves, but I didn't really have other options. So again, these are from a set, and this is Phthalo Blue Green shade and Phthalo Green Blue shade, as you can see, from Golden, High Flow Acrylics. Love the formula. Not a big fan of the colors, so every time I used these, I always tweaked them with other colors. But I did use them quite a bit, so I include them in this video. But the colors themselves, super standard colors, not my favorite. I'm not a fan of the Phthalos. And then the last two from this side of my little swatch situation are again Golden. This is their liquid acrylics, and these are kind of a good go-to option if, I don't know, you're not really on a budget. In Europe, it's not a go-to option because these are very expensive here. But I've had this one for years, and then this one I just wanted to try because I've heard so much about it, and I just wanted to try it, and my local shop actually had this, so I took a bottle and, you know, dealt with the price tag. But the formula of these, they are a bit more viscous, or like a little less liquid than the High Flow, I mean, obviously. So, you know, you can easily kind of water them down or use them as is. It's a good kind of in between if you don't really want to do heavy body, but you're a little bit worried, or you don't want them kind of lack of control that you get with High Flow acrylics, then this is a good option. They don't move around on their own. You know, you put on a little blob and then you can move it around. Yeah, so green gold is a color I really, really love, and I think I might look for some sort of ink version of this, just because I use this color a lot. It's my go-to green. And then the teal color, I get the appeal. You can see it here. It looks a little bit more luminous on screen. It's not that bright, but it's super opaque, and I really haven't seen liquid paint in this color and this opacity. There are a lot of inks. You can find like turquoise inks, but they're mostly deeper. They're mostly transparent. You can find, you know, like a phthalo, or you can mix a phthalo turquoise from these two. But this one, as it is with this exact formulation, I think it's quite unique, and I do like it. The color is almost there for me. It's not my perfect teal, but it's pretty close, and so I'm happy I got it, and I will try to find an alternative just because of the price tag. Now on this side, you can see they're not perfect, my swatches, because I had to wait a little bit between after putting the blob and smearing it, and you can see that these dry really fast because it was only like, I don't know, 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more, and you can see that it already kind of dried. So these are acrylic gouache, and if you're not familiar with acrylic gouache, it's basically acrylic paint with a matte finish. Don't let the word gouache mislead you, or yeah, it's not traditional gouache paint. It's permanent with dry. It's basically, I think it's a little bit misleading to call these acrylic gouache. I think they should just call these matte acrylic paint. And I have loved using these this month with, not with a brush, but with some sort of tool like this. And yeah, kind of, these are some of my favorite colors. So I have two from Holbein, from their super popular, seriously hyped color range, their Acryla Gouache, and this is Pale Mint and Ice Green. I think Ice Green, this is kind of what I want this to be, this color. I absolutely love this color, and I have it also in Holbein's pencils, and it's just beautiful. And the light mint, the pale mint is, I wouldn't say it's perfectly minty. I know on screen it looks really, really minty, but actually in reality it's a little bit more greenish, so kind of like a light emerald color. It's not exact like the colors on the tubes. You can't 100% trust them, but it's still gorgeous. And then I wanted to see, I have this color from Turner, and I wanted to see if it was kind of a match to the Holbein Ice Green. So this one is called Aqua Green, but I've had these for a long time, and you can see it kind of dried up. So I can't really work with it the way that I'm enjoying, which is to spread it around. But you can see how beautiful all of these, like the Holbein and the Turner ones, which all the rest are Turner paints, that the tube looks like this. These are 20 milliliter tubes. They're just gloriously opaque, and I personally love that matte finish much more than regular acrylic paint. So acrylic gouache is my jam at the moment. And then these come in a huge, both the Holbein ones and the Turner ones come in a huge, beautiful range of colors. And so I just wanted to highlight a few that I like. I don't have a ton, but I have a few of their like pastel shades. And so I wanted to highlight those in case you might be interested in trying them. So this one is Pastel Marine, and you can see that it's a little bit bluer than this one, which is Pastel Lavender. I like them both, I have to say. In reality, I like the Pastel Lavender a bit more. On camera, this one looks a bit more luminous than it actually is. So it's always a bit tricky with the camera. Now this one is a definite favorite, no doubt about it. You can see it's violet, which is my favorite color, and it's called Pastel Lilac. I think the Holbein range has very similar colors, so you can check those out, but I don't have them, so I can't tell you exactly. And then this one, you can see, is really not pastel, but this is Red Violet. So if you like these like crazy intense red violets, this is a really great option in this formula. This is Pastel Rose, and it's a nice warm pink. And then this one, I like the color also, but I wanted also to show you the texture. I'll check, hopefully these are still exist. So this series is marked with, you can see the Japanesque, hopefully you can see. Yeah, you see that it's marked differently than the other ones. So you have like these, I think these are like the regular ones, and then you have the pastel ones. But these ones with the Japanese letter, they have slightly more tooth to them, and I think it's a gorgeous finish. I don't know if I would want my entire painting to have that, but I just wanted to show you if this is something that interests you. Hopefully you can see that it's a little bit more grainy, like it has a little bit of tooth to it. I really like it. I think they're interesting to play around with. So I've been enjoying it, and I wanted to show you. And then the last one is this beautiful yellow, kind of gives me Naples yellow vibes. This is Ivory Yellow, again by Turner. So I wanted to share those with you. And then also another contestant for this month's favorite is Golden's Fluorescent Magenta. I adore this color. I really need to check if they have it in the high flow or liquid. Pretty sure they have it in liquid form because this is more heavy body. Such a gorgeous, it's a fluorescent color, but it's not garish for me anyway, for my personal taste. And it has intensity to it, and I just love it. It's like, it's what you see here. It's just delicious, and I've just been really enjoying using it. So I wanted to mention that. And as for favorite tools, really I've been mostly playing around, like less with brushes, more with these kinds of things. This one is okay. I like the way it fits in my hand, but it doesn't give me as much control with like spreading paint as this one does. This is from my local shop here, like one of them. But I think you can find these in every art store. So it's like a brush, but then this is just like a silicone wedge, but it's quite fine. So I feel like I have control with this, and I can really spread the paint as thickly or thinly as I want. So I think I'll pick up a couple more of these, maybe in different sizes. Really had fun with those. Now, as for surfaces, I had really two standout successes for me this month, and this is one of them. So this is how this comes. You buy it like this, obviously without the color and the artwork, but it's just like a wooden frame with a little canvas mounted on top. I don't know if you can see, but there's just like a block of wood here. And what I love about this is you get to kind of see how your artwork will look already framed, and I've just really enjoyed. I just find it very satisfying to work on something like this, where you get that effect. I feel like it's motivating because framing takes artwork to the next level, and you'd be surprised how a painting that you love can look so even much better with a nice frame. So of course the problem with these is that they are pricey. They have also, not connected to the price, but just for your information, this thing that you hang it on, and I just loved working on this. I worked on 2 this month, really enjoyed it. I wanted to try it and was kind of, I don't know, I didn't want to spend the money, and then this month I decided to do that, and I'm so glad that I did. And now this is just a wooden board, and I started using inks on it, and I wasn't vibing with it, and then I covered it with acrylic gouache and just like a wedge, and then had the best time and just built on it with some pencils. And then what you see at the end, like these are oil sticks. Again, another fun product. The issue I have with them, I think it's kind of dry. Okay, these need, like these oil sticks, they're fantastic because they do dry, unlike oil pastels, but they need a few days. So I have here actually two kinds. I have here the white and the yellow are from Sennelier, and they actually dry faster. They're also a little bit harder than the pink and the blue, which are from R&F. The blue is still not completely dry, they're like super expensive, but they are like butter and just a joy to play with. So I might treat myself for my birthday for like with a few more of these. But yeah, loved working on wood boards. So glad that I tried it, and I see more of that in my future because it's a different experience than a canvas. It's so sturdy and lovely. If you want to like layer a little bit more textured paint, just lovely. And I love the thick sides. So if you want to try this, definitely try one with thicker sides, because you can treat the sides like a continuation of your painting. And these just really brought me joy this month. And so I wanted to talk about this. Now, another thing I want to mention that has served me so well this month is my little sketchbook. And I have this particular one I make in one of my courses, but I have a tutorial on how to create this kind of binding on my channel. And I have inside, and inside I have my printables, which are sized perfectly for this sketchbook. If you're not familiar, this is like little golden books, and they're perfect for making your own sketchbook. And they have the cutest covers, like all the Disney stories, and then also some other fantastic things like this one, for example. So if this is not perfect for a sketchbook, I don't know what is. And I created this with watercolors in mind, but it works perfectly for acrylic inks and all that as well. So it's been such a handy tool to have to swatch all my colors, play around. I love all the tubes. It works really well for acrylic paint tubes as well. And I've just been using this all the time. It's such a great reference. I really recommend, you don't have to make your own sketchbook, but I do recommend keeping a separate sketchbook for all of your swatches and color mixing, because if it kind of gets lost in your regular sketchbook, which I also recommend keeping, then it'll be very hard for you to find these later on. So let's say a few months into the future, if you want to go back and see swatches, you don't exactly know where it is. Whereas if you keep a dedicated sketchbook just for swatching and mixing colors and playing around with color stories, it's much easier to keep as reference. So in this one, I don't actually paint in it, but I only explore colors. So this one I made, I think it's a fantastic option, and it's kind of my favorite, but I also have another one that I really, really love. Not for the paper, because the paper is awful, but just for the format, just the feel of it and the size. So this is by Khadi. As I said, Khadi Papers. The paper is awful, but you can see, like, you can get so much in this. I should probably just get one also as like a sketchbook, because it's just, I don't know, there's like some things that just feel good in your hands and make you want to use them. So this is one such thing for me. And as you can see, it mostly has like color play, swatching, that sort of thing, with the very, very rare sketch inside. So really, really recommend keeping something of this sort. And of course, if you're interested in my printables, you can find them in my shop. I think they're very, very useful, and I think my favorite is the one with the tubes. Just because it's a lot of fun to play around with. So you can paint all your paint tubes. So that's it for this month's favorite. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.